Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. $140,000 public defender Julie Cianca. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. This is a document I sent to you 3 years ago tonight because it is 9:15 p.m. August 4th, 2026. This document here, August 4th, 2023, arrived at 10:01 a.m. on Friday, August 4th, 3 years ago. I had 5 Freedom of Information Law documents that you refused to comply with. That I updated with today's date, August 4th, 2026, and I'm going to read. August 4th, 2023, Todd Baxter, Sheriff, 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, New York. Sandra Doyle, District Attorney, 47 South Fifth Street, Rochester, New York. Comply with the attached Freedom of Information Law documentation dated August 4th, 2023. Mail the names of my prosecutor Sons, the address on Park Avenue. I prosecuted Sons before Penfield Town Court Judge John P. Lomenzo Jr., Penfield Town Court Judge Paul C. Metzler, New York State Supreme Court Judge Alex Renzi. 4 criminal complaints notarized by Christopher M. Price, the Rochester Public Library, on July 21, 2023, are attached in PDF. 1 criminal complaint notarized by Christopher M. Price at the Rochester Public Library on July 27, 2023, is attached in PDF. You will not arrest, prosecute, or jail these criminals that include Monroe County Sheriff Office employees, but you psychopaths will commit crimes for me. It's impossible for a prosecutor to make an argument in court that I committed a crime. I'm convicted on paper and delivered to jail 6 times by 1 corrupt judge. That's insane. 3 years ago. So I have a link here, Violence, Sheriff Todd Baxter, 75904 Richard Seaton here, where I'm on there for 18, 20, 25 minutes talking about this freaking psychopath. Now, here's the Freedom of Information Law. I'm not going to read these here from 3 years ago because the same language is on here, but the district attorney's name is changed. I wonder why. Because her term didn't end in a normal way, and she decided not to run for re-election, or she retired. How did that happen? Perry Duckles, Michelle Crowley, Lisa Gray. So, August 4, 2023, this has the name John P. Lomenzo Jr. on it. This has the name Paul C. Metzler on it. This has the name Alex Renzi on it. This is money that is owed me. Excuse me, this is the grand jury. And then the money is the next one. The grand jury, I'm not called to testify, Perry Duckles, Michelle Crowley. You were the director of the grand jury. You didn't call me to testify. So I'm going to be on here relentlessly soon. It's going to be every day or every other day about that grand jury of freaks and psychopaths. Well, I'm your ham sandwich, Michelle Crowley. And then this 5th one here is about money. $61.39. So, 3 years ago, impervious. District Attorney's Office, the language is the same, except for the name of the District Attorney. Because she's a freaking psychopath. There will always be a resignation and disgrace. Always, just like Elliot Spitzer. Freedom of Information Law dated August 4th, 2026. Documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester, John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Brian P. Green. Freedom of Information Law dated August 4, 2026. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, Paul C. Metzler, Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Brian P. Green. Freedom of Information Law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Brian P. Green. The grand jury. Well, I'm your ham sandwich, Michelle Crowley. I'm Sandra Dorley's ham sandwich. You can indict a ham sandwich. It's been in the language of American law for at least 40 years because I Googled it and I wanted to know who coined it. And it's extremely interesting listening to prosecutors in the 1970s and 1980s talking about grand juries and indictments and how easy it is. And this is how easy it is. But I don't know all the facts that I should know. As the target of the grand jury, where I'm not called to testify, and Michael Houlihan, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, perjured himself. Information about the grand jury can be by District Attorney Sandra Doyle to target Christopher Chichester. That is 1, the day, month, and year the grand jury is convened. 2, the assigned District Attorney's Office employee to address the grand jury. 3, the witness that testified before the grand jury. 4, the vote of the grand jurors. 5, transcript of the grand jury proceeding. And the 5th one, received 3 years ago tonight. August 4th, 2026, the issuance of a new check to Christopher Chichester, the address below, for an expired check in the amount of $61.39 from the County Monroe Office of Sheriff and May Fund account. That's the dollar amount in the pocket of Chichester when he was violently attacked at the Public Library by 75904 Richard Steep in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. He stalked me into the library and ran at me. He slammed his arm at the side of my head. It's the fourth of his arm hitting me in the head. That's violence. My head hit the ceramic tile floor. That's violence. And then the other freak would see and kick me. I believe those are three separate crimes. And what I don't know, since I'm not an attorney, but you know, with the district attorney's office, is how was a violent attack prosecuted? I'm sure you recall the Los Angeles police officers going berserk, going nuts, beating Rodney King with nightsticks. Well, that beating upon him is every time Rodney King was hit with a nightstick when he's on the ground. Is that a crime? I don't know, but they certainly had to think about that at the district attorney's office in Los Angeles. So I believe those are three different crimes upon me by Richard J. Seaman, who has not been. I'm going to find out if he's still there. And then when he has received a pay raise, because I'm confident, one, he's still been there despite my criminal complaint, and two, he's received a pay raise. I'll be back on you about him and Houlihan, Michael Houlihan, a perjurer. So I'll say this so you understand. I believe it's a crime for Richard J. Seaman to hit me in the head with his arm. I believe it's a crime when I fall backwards for my head to hit the ceramic tile because of Richard Seaman. And I believe it's a crime for me to be kicked on the ground. And I believe that those are three separate violent crimes. And I could be incorrect because I'm not an attorney. And I don't know the law like attorneys do. So you got it 3 years ago. These same ones right here. And what you did get today is the criminal complaints. This is August 4th, 2026. I just read August 4th, 2023, 3 years ago. This arrived. You know why this arrived? Employees of the district attorney's office, sheriff's office. Because here's Todd Baxter. It's stamped August 4th, 2026. This is Brian P. Green, August 4th, 2026. Here you are, Perry Duckles. August 4th, 2026, the criminal complaints. Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court. When he reads this, he's going to think I'm going to send this Christopher Chichester to jail. And I'll get a document in the mail. That's exactly what's going to happen to me. The last one, I'm going to find out if he's just as corrupt as United States Attorney for the Western District of New York, Trinity Ross. 100 times I contact her. It does not matter to the former United States Attorney for Western District of New York, Trinity Ross, that there were psychopath cops violently attacking me and psychopath cops lying under oath. Richard Seaman violently attacking me, Michael Houlihan lied under oath. Talked about them both. Repeatedly, doesn't matter to Todd Baxter. I'm confident both will receive pay raises, and I will find out. August 4th, 2026. Those United States Postal Service registered mail return receipt arrived. Will arrive in 2 days, tomorrow, 48 hours. August 4th, 2026, Todd Baxter, Sheriff, 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, New York, 14614. Brian P. Green, District Attorney, 47 South Fitzhugh Street, Rochester, New York, 14614. What is the status of the 5 criminal complaints I wrote for 1, Richard J. Seaman, 2, Nayraj and Layla Kumar Shah, 3, Laura Riley, 4, Antonio Spano, 5, Michael Houlihan? Answer: Christopher Chichester, 130 North Winton Road, Box 10184, Rochester, New York, 14610. 5 criminal complaints for 6 people because Nayraj Shah and Layla Kumar Shah are responsible for the 1 document that's false reporting an incident. July 22nd, 2023, Todd Baxter, Sheriff, San Diego District Attorney, attached to 4 criminal complaints with this language. The Richard J. Seaman, Montgomery Sheriff, was walking from Pemberton Public Library in Pemberton, New York, ran Christopher Chichester, slammed his arm at the head of Chichester, causing him to fall backwards and hit his head on the ceramic tile floor. Nayraj Shah, Layla Kumar Shah, 2033 Pemberton Road, Pemberton, New York, 14526, false report incident of Christopher Chichester, following 26 Sanders from Drive, is walking through a park next to his residence. 3, Antonio Spano, Fairport, New York, locked the back doors of residence 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Pemberton, New York, without a court order. 4, Laura Riley, Webster, New York, transport the personal belongings of Christopher Chichester for 26 Sanders from Drive, Pemberton, New York, storage locker, Webster, New York, without a court order. These are crimes. Each individual will not be arrested or prosecuted. There's a 1 day in jail served for these crimes that destroyed my life. Because you are incapable of identifying crime, you will commit crimes for innocent citizens. You hate to me condition. 2 links on YouTube, rejection, unconstitutional. You got this. Perry Duckles and Julie Cianca, you're copied on this 3 years ago. Resign. So, the 5th one, lying, perjurer, freak. Michael Houlihan said I swung a hammer at him on my back porch in Penfield, New York. He will lie again under oath. He will be a corrupt freak, Michael Houlihan, the whole time if he's in fact still employed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Just like Richard Cheap is going to violently attack other innocent citizens. And Todd Baxter is so stupid and corrupt that he is insulating these two who are Richard Cheap and Michael Houlihan with the blue wall silence. This is the blue wall silence here. This is arrived 100 times with Todd Baxter. It's perfectly acceptable for Michael Houlihan, a freak cop, to lie under oath. Text criminal complaint for perjury, 73312 Michael Houlihan, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Quote, that 73312 Michael C. Houlihan, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, walked on the private property across from residence 26 Sanders from John Penn, New York, Christopher Chichester. That Houlihan ran at Chichester approximately 1 a.m. with $85,000 down bed of the sheriff's office. Chichester ran away from Houlihan and bedded dead on one of their identities. Chichester grabbed the hammer alongside the residence next to his bike used to fix the bike's tire. As Chichester places from the first of 3 steps, Houlihan grabbed his arm, the hammer, and Chichester's arms forced upwards. And as Chichester ran across his back porch through a sliding glass door, Chichester never stopped running. It's possible to swing the hammer at 73312 Michael Houlihan. It's impossible to swing the hammer at 73312 Michael Houlihan, you disgusting, sickening freak. Michelle Crowley, who turns me into your ham sandwich. So why don't you call me to the grand jury and you could have asked me question after question after question. I would have sat there for as long as you wanted, Michelle Crowley. And why? What's the answer? It's because civil and constitutional rights are a fucking joke for you, Michelle Crowley. You understand me? Been at the district attorney's office, I believe, since 2012. You've certainly been there for at least 10 years. And you're promoted. It does not matter. The former district attorney, Sandra Dorley, and present district attorney, Brian P. Green, and you, Michelle Crowley, are a psychopath. So, these green cards, he's come back to me. I'm surprised Todd Baxter was signing for some of these because some of the envelopes came back. I'm not going to read all these, which I have, but here's Julie Cianca right here. That's not dated, but who is it? It's about a month ago. You know. So here's Perry Duckles on June 15th. Today's August 4th, 2026. I still don't know. I didn't get anything in the mail from you. Perry Duckles right there. There's your name, June 15th. Who is it? Tell me who it is. The prosecutor's silence. Delivering me 6 times to Monroe County Jail in Rochester, New York, Livingston County Jail in Genesee, New York, where I don't live, and goddamn silence. How am I jail when a prosecutor I'm talking court? It's because 3 corrupt judges. That's why. That you don't know are corrupt. Here on July 1, 2026, more than a month ago, get my documentation with the foil. Either you're being directed not to disclose information to me, Perry Duckles, or you just decide on your own. I'll never know, but you can tell me. So here you are again on June 15th, Perry Duckles. Nothing from you. Here you are again on June 16th, the very next day. I don't hear nothing from you. No document, district attorney's office. It's real simple, Perry Duckles. You write my name, you write my address, 130 North Winton Road, and then you just write, these are your prosecutor's silence. You list the name of the judge, the name of the prosecutor. It's real simple. What's the problem? What's the problem in Jonestown? The problem in Jonestown, Perry Duckles, is you drank the Kool-Aid. And I love that phrase because it perfectly captures fanaticism and extremism and hatred. Drink the Kool-Aid has different meanings. To me, it's always fanaticism, extremism, and hatred. And I think I know more than the normal person about Jonestown and Guyana and what happened. So, 900 and I think it's 38 people perished where they're not drinking Kool-Aid, drinking something called Flavor Aid. And you can hear the audio of Jim Jones before the mass suicide happens, where he's ordering them to drink the Flavor Aid. It is terrifying to listen to this because you can hear children and other people screaming in the background. And he also has his armed thugs there, right, too, making sure that this mass suicide happens. So, here you are again. Perry Douglas is not dated. Here's the district attorney here. That's not dated. I'm going to get the warrant for the district attorney, and maybe it's dated. McCrary, who's that? This is the unprofessionalism of this Jonestown district attorney's office. Brian P. Green, there's not date of delivery. They should sign their names. It's legible. I don't know who McCray is. I had to sign my name when I worked in the New York State Capitol for Senate Majority Leader Ralph Marino and Governor George Pataki. Not often, but every once in a while, a document would come because there would be some concerned citizen somewhere in the state of New York. And I would sign my name. And I remember looking at it and thinking, I need to print my name in a legible way so this person knows who I am signing for this document. This happened both in the House Rayburn building, Senate Russell building, and the New York State Capitol where I have worked. McCray, a joke. So it's Brian P. Green. There's not even a signature on there, but the card came back to me. This is Diane McCoy, Brian P. Green. Okay, this is April 6th. So April 6th, 2026. And here I am at 1133 Corporate Drive, P.O. Box 25395, Farmington, New York. I'm going to talk about Morton Properties at 434 Oxford Street in Rochester, New York, locking me out of my residence at 275 Park Avenue without a court order, court appearance. It's the same thing Antonio Spano, Fairport, New York did to me. There's going to be no arrest. There's going to be nothing. It's just a joke, the law, for how landlords can smash a tenant into a million little pieces by committing a crime. Because the law's a joke to you at the district attorney's office. Just like the law's a joke to Sheriff Todd Baxter. And the law is certainly a joke to David Smith, given what I'm listening to every goddamn night on the South Union Street and East Avenue, where the vehicle has been altered to be louder. And my former employee, the New York State Legislature in 2021, changed state law to make it illegal to enhance the sound of a vehicle. And these same freaks and psychopaths that get an erotic thrill out of the sound of their cars or their trucks are also these freaks and psychopaths that are screaming and yelling at each other and going berserk in this parking lot. I'm going to be talking about this parking lot real soon. I'm going to send Mayor Malik Evans some documentation. You know, they closed down Alexander Street and other streets when I was trying to get back here a couple weeks ago during the World Cup, and I had to walk a different way. I'm in pitch black darkness in an area. I thought I know all the area down here in East Avenue, South Union Street. And because RPD closed down East Avenue because of the World Cup, I could not get back to where I live at 270 on East. And that's where you can send Richard Siemens to slam me in the head, Todd. Or that's where you can send Michael Houlihan over here to go berserk and go nuts, and Santa swung a hammer at him when I leave my residence here. So Todd Baxter surrounds himself with freak cops because he's a freak that loves freaks. There's Brian P. Green again. So Brian P. Green on July 7th, almost a month ago. Again, I'm not going to read all these, but I'm demanding information every single time. And the district attorneys are refusing, just like Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles and Public Defender Julie Cianca here on July 16th, 2026. This comes in the mail with my innocent man card because I am the very definition of innocence. Before I'm 50, I got a speeding ticket where I worked in Albany, New York, dismissed court. I went to Albany City Hall. I had a speeding ticket where I worked in Washington, D.C. on Constitution Avenue. I went to Washington City Court, dismissed, because I wasn't speeding. A reason why I have a developed experience in life where I'm not a provincial psychopath fanatic and moron like you supervisors at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office, because I have lived in Albany, New York, and I have lived in Washington, D.C., and I've lived in New York City, I've lived in Long Island, I've lived in Kentucky, I've lived in Tennessee. Living in Monroe County, I have not done that for the last 20, 30, 40 years. Like you psychopaths and freaks at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office, which perverts your ability to understand reason and ration, which is why you're just going to blow me off and ignore me. You have been for 4+ years. July 16, 2023, just like you blew this off 2 weeks ago. Your office received a criminal claim from me in the next 7 days. This is quoting me from July 16, 2023. Your office received a criminal claim from me in the next 7 days about 80-year-old Anthony Spano, Fairport, New York, locking me out of my residence, Pemberton, New York, without a court order. He will not be arrested because of his age. Your office received a criminal claim for the next 7 days by name rush shot, Pemberton, New York, false reporting criminal act. To walk through a park 4,000 times. He will not be arrested because your Kool-Aid drinkers can't identify crime. Your office will receive a criminal claim in the next 7 days about 75 now for Richard Siemens violently assaulting me. Pemberton, not public law. He will not be arrested for because of Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee. And my ex-girlfriend there is too. They're right here. What I just read is right here. You did receive the criminal complaint. I wrote that on July 16th, 2023 is July 22nd. Todd Baxter ignores the law because he's corrupt. That's why. He is the definition of a blue wall of silence freak cop. Sheriff Todd Baxter of Rochester, New York. Perry Duckles. Perry Duckles of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. My name is Chris Chichester. I have been in jail 6 times. And 6 times the prosecutor's not talked to court. I contacted you on January 1st, 2023, using an email. I also copied employees at the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, Penford Town Court, and my former public defenders, Regina Harper and Mark Phillips. And I demanded of you, on January 2023, Perry Duckles, Deputy District Attorney of Monroe County, for you to disclose the names of my prosecutors. My prosecutors are silence. And you refused, and I wasn't surprised. For 18 plus months, I have used the Freedom of Information Law and sent it to your office at 47 South Fitzhugh Street, where I'm demanding that your boss, District Attorney Sandra Dorley, disclose the names of my prosecutors of silence. A courtroom, Perry Duckles and Penfield Town Court Rob appeared before these disgusting hacks, Paul C. Metzer and John P. Lenzo Jr., is financed by the taxpayers. A courtroom in New York State Supreme Court where I appeared before $208,000 Alex Renzi is financed by the taxpayers. And I have a prosecutor signed to every single one of my court appearances, and you're refusing every single time to disclose the names of my prosecutors. Perry Duckles, corruption, which is you, requires repetition. What are the names of my prosecutors? I was at my temporary residence in Rochester, which I'm not going to say, but it's at 70 Liberty Pole Way, and I get a document in the mail that forces me to go in to see Alex Renzi. One of you psychopaths at the district attorney's office forced me into Alex Renzi, who then remanded me to mine. So, remanded me to Monroe County Jail. I'm not going to go into that. That's why I muted it, because I did talk about it, which I'm not going to right now, because I hate to talk about that. But I'm confident what he did to me is unconstitutional. So, doesn't matter here. It's all irrelevant. Everything, if you're watching me 21 minutes now, everything I said is totally irrelevant, which is corruption. So, does that matter to you? This is where I am. Don't forget, Todd, baby. Sheriff Todd Baxter, 270 on East. Send Richard Seaman over here. Tell him to run at me, slam me in the head, I'll fall down. My head on ceramic tile. Send Michael Houlihan over here. I'll stand outside, right there on South Union Street. And then Michael Houlihan, go back to you and report that I swung a hammer at him and blew in the fantasy land of his head. It's really mind-blowing, these sick freaks that Todd Baxter surrounds himself with. Also, in this documentation here, Todd Baxter, there you are. Brian P. Green, there you are. Perry Duckles, there you are. Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, there he is. And Michael DiGiacomo. In this documentation, which include the Freedom of Information Law, and 3 years ago on August 4th, 3 years ago, tonight, demanding information. This also arrived. May 11, 2026. Todd Baxter, Sheriff Brian P. Green, District Attorney, address is This is Extremism with 11 attachments. Why do you think I'm in Farmington, New York? Because you got this email. I hope. But if you didn't get the email, you just deleted me or from block, because that could very well be the case. It arrives when I print it out. Because the cards come back to me, and you also just throw it away and know it's me. I will never know. 1133 Corporate Drive, P.O. Box 25395. This is corruption. April 6th. 3 years ago on April 6th, this is directly to you, Perry Duckles, you, Mark Monahan. I don't know if Mark Monahan is at the District Attorney's Office anymore. 3 years ago on April 6th, 2023, I contacted you about the abomination of Penford Court, YouTube language. $28,000 Paul C. Metzer, Penford Court, violently attacked the Penford Public Library by 75-904 Richard Seaman of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. You was one person, little Penford Court wanted to deliver me to jail. It's not going to be jail in Monroe County. Perry Duckles and Mark Monahan, District Attorney's Office. Perry Duckles, Mark Monahan, one of the names of my prosecutors, Penford Court, for this bald-headed wig wearing Paul C. Metzler, $34,000 John P. Lenzo Jr., $200,000 Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. One of you psychopaths at the District Attorney's Office decided to elevate me to Alex Renzi. Perry Duckles and Mark Monahan, who is it? Perry Duckles and Mark Monahan, who is it? You won't respond because the law is a joke to you. Corruption, fanaticism in Penford Court. How do you allow this abomination to exist? There's no jury of 12. There's no witness box for testimony. It's not a table for a prosecutor to sit at. It's not a table for a public defender, defense attorney to sit at. It's an assembly line of guilt in there. It violates civil and constitutional rights of innocent citizens every time it's in session. April 10, 2025. This is what I'm confident could really get the attention of the United States Department of Justice about sexual harassment with Todd Baxter not in compliance with Title 70 of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. This is over a year ago, April 10, 2025. 2 years ago, on April 10, 2023, I contacted your office via Gmail and United States Postal Service registered mail return receipt with this language. Mail the names of my prosecutor, the address to Spa, Rochester, New York. Read the 6 attached PDF documentation. Answer me in sexual harassment in your office. Resign. Attached are 2 Freedom of Information Law documents dated April 10, 2025 with this language. 1. The cost of taxpayers, Monmouth County Sheriff Todd Baggs suspended taxpayer dollars, settled employment-related discrimination lawsuits, found to comply with Title 7, Civil Rights Act of 1964. 2. The cost of taxpayers, Monmouth County District Attorney Sandra expended taxpayer dollars, settled employment-related discrimination lawsuits, failed to comply with Title 7, Civil Rights Act 1964. Have you each expended taxpayer dollars to settle sexual harassment lawsuit? Is your answer 1, yes, 2, no? What is your answer? I'll contact you again next 7 to 10 days with the same Freedom of Information Law language. I don't have the receipt. I don't know if I did honor that, my language, but I'm confident that I did. Because I was thinking when I wrote this, I want to know and I demand to know. I'm not asking either. And April 10, 2025, well over a year ago, there's nothing from Todd Baxter saying Doyle before she resigned in disgrace. So and here's the foil here about compliance with Title 7. I'm going to write this again in the next 48 hours. It'll arrive, and Brian P. Green, Todd Baxter, District Attorney and Sheriff, respectively, ignore it. So let's jump to these two. Here it is again about Title 7 compliance with sexual harassment. I'm on here talking about the sexual harassment. Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney St. Jolie, Jugs Alex Renzi. I also talked about my experiences in Albany, New York, working for the New York State Legislature as a staffer, and United States Senate as a staffer, United States House of Representatives as a staffer. Albany's not as bad as it used to be, but it still goes on. But 3 years ago, on this April 10, 2026, I think I was on here about sexual harassment. Sheriff Todd Baggs, District Attorney Sandra and Alex Renzi. I think I was on here for 45 minutes. And I'm going to be on here again about what's commonly called sexual harassment. I went to a fundraiser when I was a young man. When I worked for Senator Majority of Lafayette, I wasn't even 30 years old yet. I think I was 27, 28. This is a large fundraiser right next to the New York State Capitol at a hotel. So I'm there. There's about 300, 400 people. And I see a woman that I've seen at the legislature. I know she's having sex with the state legislator. And they're drinking and having a good time. Well, they left because this fundraiser went on for about 2-3 hours. And he came back and she had her dress on inside out. And staff talked about her. And this was not a surprise to me because I'd already been there for a couple of years. And I'd seen things that are really even worse than this because this is just, some ridiculous, ludicrous thing you can laugh at. There are things that would happen. I would hear, I knew this one staffer who was my age, and she was telling me what was happening in her office to her because of her boss, who was the state legislator. And she cried. So, July 28, 2025, 1 year ago. On July 28, 2024, I wrote to you, District Attorney Sandra Jolie, 1 year ago. Today, I described the sick laws, behavior, purchase 73.3 into Michael Lynn, the Montgomery Sheriff's Office on YouTube. You ignore my language, attached criminal complaint. Why is perjury a crime? You refuse to prosecute, resign, freak. I was indicted by a grand jury by director of the grand jury, Michelle Crowley, 73.312 Michael Lynn, lied under oath to grand jurors when he stated swung a hammer on my back porch 26 cents from driving in Penfield at midnight. He was hiding on my neighbor's private property. It's not constitutional, Perry Duckles and more to hide on someone's private property. I don't know. July 28, 2024, again to District Attorney Sandra Doyle, 1 year ago. On July 26, 2023, I contacted your office via Gmail using Freedom of Information Law to demand names of public employees that violate my civil and constitutional rights. Simple communication arrived at your office repeatedly. United States Postal Service, Federal Express, United Postal Service. Because the law was a joke. The District Attorney. July 10, 2024. I'm not going to read all this. This is the transcript of every argument made by your prosecutors to detail and describe a crime I committed. Brackets is no language because the prosecutor never talked in court. How am I in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? Perry Duckles of the District Attorney's Office. Lisa Gray of the District Attorney's Office. Michelle Crowley of the District Attorney's Office. Megan Hausner of the District Attorney's Office. Michael Harrigan of the District Attorney's Office. How am I in jail when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court before John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Court and Paul C. Metzer in Penfield Court and Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court? How? June 27, 2024, the Freedom of Information Law was on in there on that date. Same thing, prosecutor silence. January 16, 2023, Todd Baxter, Sheriff, 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, New York. This photograph is why you're a fanatic. This photograph is why you're extremist. This photograph is why you're a liar. This photograph is why I know the name of your $67,000 disgusting HNMI. This photograph is why people hate the police. I don't have the color photo, which I've showed up repeatedly, but it's right there. There's the camera right there. I was on this. Regina Harper sent me the links, and I watched myself on it. So here we have the illustrious Perry Duckles on January 1, 2023, ignoring the law, blowing me off. The law's a joke to use super life of Perry Duckles, which you can approve tonight. And you did on January 1, 2023. January 1, 2023. Perry Duckles, District Attorney, 47 South Fitchie Street, Rochester, New York, 14604. Attached to the PDF of 61-page Freedom of Information Law document dated December 20, 2022. That arrived in your office via UPS. This documentation also arrived on December 22nd, 2022, December 26th, 2022, via UPS track. You have it. Print each, bring it to your corrupt boss, District Attorney Sandroid, tell us pathetic accumulation of health afflictions to send the information to my UPS address, solicit below, whose names I prosecute silence. What's not to understand? I've demanded names I prosecute silence. For 18 months, I'll be in court again because you fellow psychopaths know it only takes one corrupt judge, such as Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court, Paul C. Metz, a Little Pemberton Town Court. They declare me guilty of criminal charges you concoct. Prosecutors never talked in court for me, yet I've been in jail 6 times. This is fanaticism, hatred at your officers, the attention of the United States Department of Justice. You will see the same foil documentation dated January 2nd, 2023, January 3rd, 2023, that tells you to disclose the names of my prosecutor's silence. You will continue to refuse and craving silence. YouTube 61. It's called 61 for Todd Baxter, Sandro, 61 Freedom of Information Law documents. They ignored every single one. Full law rally again. I'm on YouTube for 15 minutes, 30 minutes talking to my ex-girlfriend about this illegal eviction. In this document, you, Perry Duckles. I'll be in court again. That's exactly right. And there I am in jail again. And Perry Duckles, I'll be in jail again because I'll be in court again because you freaks and psychopaths at the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office. You know what justice is about? Employees of Monmouth County District Attorney's Office, Monmouth County Sheriff's Office, about money. That's a 5. If I had $3,000 in this money clip here, if I had $3,000 in here, just laying around, I could do whatever I want with. I would have spent one goddamn day in jail. Or I would have been in jail and then released immediately because money would have ejected me from jail. Psychopath cop and psychopath judge can have you in jail where it doesn't matter how much money you have. I languished in jail because I didn't have money. And if I did, I wouldn't have. So, you see that clip? That's the Screaming Eagle from the 101st Airborne Division. Where I was for 3 years. My dress greens from the 101st are gone. Just like my Army Commendation Medal's gone, my Army Achievement Medal's gone, my Air Assault Badge is gone, my graduate 10-day United States Army Air Assault School. I had 20, 30 things in my residence in Pemberton, New York that had this famous insignia of the 101st Airborne Division. They're all gone. Because it does not matter to Sheriff Todd Baxter that my life has been smashed into a million little pieces by Antonio Spano of Fairport, New York, and Laura Riley of Webster, New York, with an illegal eviction. It also does not matter to you Jonestown Kool-Aid drinkers at the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been an innocent man my whole life.